Hello, hello. How are you doing this evening? Pretty strange day today. I want to talk a little bit about it. Just sharing my perspective, not trying to teach or give anybody any reflection, but just more what's going on for me. So, the last couple days, I've been looking back at my life and looking at what I could only call a failure of 3D experiences. I went through all the tasks that we come here and often are taught to do in the 3D experience. Go to school. I went to school and got a degree in engineering and got a job with a company called Nortel. And the company went out before bankrupt from underneath me after 15 years of working. I waited until I was 30 to get married just to make sure that I was ready for marriage and women and all that kind of stuff. And 12 years later, I'm getting a divorce, but I had three beautiful children. I could look at some of this stuff and say I'm a failure as a father because I had a divorce. Um, Businesses fail, debt, all these kind of things that you measure yourself by in 3D. And some days I feel like it just fell flat in my face, but I'm looking at them and I'm seeing that we're deconstructing, we're unwinding the collective pattern. I don't know how else to describe it, of how this is how things go and what your lessons are and how you grow up and learn. And we move from being in our inner child wounds probably through a lot of our early life, our marriage, etc. And then we mature and we grow up and we go look at all the dark stuff that was kind of hidden in the corners, the lineage trauma that we dealt with, what we carried from our family, what pleasing is all about, patterns like uh, kind of giving up yourself all the time in a relationship, in your business, in your career, where you tried to please, you tried to serve, you tried to do all these things, and we lost ourselves along the way. And I experienced all of those things. A lot of times I felt like I fell flat on my face, but now as I'm staring into kind of the void of the next steps, because I really feel reality is kind of disassembled itself around me. All those things that I was striving for in my life, all those little check marks we just talked about, they taught me, but they don't really matter. They don't define me. They weren't the success that I was looking for, because the success was actually just the opposite. It's so weird looking at it and saying, "Holy crap, I had a marriage and I thought I loved a woman, but there was wounds of sexuality, there was wounds of uh, intimacy, there was wounds of that she never even reported. I had my own sets of wounds around intimacy and other things, and I unwound them. I got to witness them through these experiences, and then I unwound them. And it's everything around me. My whole life experience, I'm literally feeling like I'm sitting unwinding all of reality and seeing where it was tormented and demented and mixed up and based on control and all this other stuff. And I'm looking at it and saying, holy crap, I made a success in choosing self-love, choosing me, choosing what's important, and unwinding societal conditioning and programming and religion and old lineage traumas, etc., that came in my family and came in my life, and kind of sabotaged me all along the way. And I'm not blaming those things. I'm saying they caused these sabotages, which couldn't allow me to self-love myself, to see my self-love first, and then create boundaries and perspectives that I ended up doing, but in this societally judged way. Oh, you're a man that divorced a woman, and you're a business owner that failed, or holy cow, how'd you get in debt, or these kind of things. And you look at them, and everything's inverted. The marriage was like, okay, I was giving everything into the marriage, but was not getting fed back. And that's my own mistake. And I can see all the stuff that was mangled up with it. But the choice to divorce from love, and a lot of people won't understand this until you've done it for yourself, but to divorce from love, when you've given all your heart to another person and you didn't know any other way and they didn't know any other way, sometimes you can kill yourself. And I feel that would have happened, but the ability to step back and to create that distance so that we could find ourselves, and we both grown in this magical way that couldn't have even happened before. um, so it's not bad now. It's now got this deeper awareness, and almost everything is that way. I'm seeing my community that I was part of break down because it was filled with mistrust and trauma, and people that weren't really truthful about who they were. So I had to step away from these things. Um, Friends, relationships, holy crap, the amount of unsaid that goes with those things. My last three relationships I had to step away from because one was they were physically abusive. They were wanting to hang on so much. They were wanting to move in with me when there was never any agreement. I was in the middle of trying to find a new house, and they're insisting on me having a suite in the basement. And I'm like, I can't do that. I'm getting evicted from my landlord. I don't have the time or the space to be able to deal with that on top of basic survival. And we got to the point, I can remember her trauma was, she was screaming at me and calling me all these names, and I was just sitting there and listening. And it's like, this isn't mine. This isn't mine. She wants me to feel bad for her so that I'll carry her in, and these kind of things. And we get to the end of it, and I'm like, what are you saying these things for? And how does this apply to me? And I'm willing to support you, but if you can't be calm and not tear at me, we can't continue, because this isn't healthy for either of us. This will get violent, or I'll get harmed in some way. And then I had to step away after three warnings and other things. So in the end, I was self-loving myself, but in the long run, it was like, holy shit, do you really want to move in with somebody when there's not even agreement? They're like clinging on for dear life. So I look back at it and it looked like a failure, but in the end, it was probably the best thing for both, because holy cow, did she say a lot of things about me and trashed me to everybody we knew after the fact for me standing up for myself. And the last relationship I had, the woman had abandonment issues, and I was welcoming more people into my life, and all of a sudden one day the skin was torn off me, and it was just like, holy shit, what. We had agreements that said that these things had to be said and discussed, and I'd ask, and I'd see things, and I'd wonder, and it ended up she was lying. And it became very, very clear. And in the end, she was even able to see that it was very, very clear. And there's a wound in there. But after 5 times of accepting that and giving space and building agreements and that kind of stuff, the final result was I had to step back, because there was no way I could deal with it if she couldn't speak about it and wouldn't share it with me. There's only so much space I could hold. So once again, having to pull back, but it was a self-loving thing. It's like, hey, I can't keep having people that want to tear at me and love myself. So I keep looking at all these things, and I'm now to the point, and I think a lot of people are at this point, where we're staring into this void. We've torn down, lost homes and lost security in the old ways, and maybe not having a lot of money and having debt, and relationships aren't working out. And maybe you don't have sexuality in your life right now. These are all things that are happening right now that I'd love to have, but they're nothing without self-love. They're nothing without me having the confidence. Am I doing these things for me? Am I doing this to please somebody else? Am I doing this to because it's love based, or is it doing it because I'm feeling a potential of abandonment or attachment or something? And the more and more I whittle it down, and the more and more I look at it, I'm like, okay, this is me choosing me. And we're not in a space right now. I don't think the 3D reality that we're living in has the ability for unconditional love yet. The ability to love someone and create agreements and feel safe, because we've all been programmed with all this shit right from the minute we were born. We're latching onto each other and we're building each other off of each other's love, and it becomes this mess. So staring into the void, it feels like I have nothing. I've kind of nested my reality. I've got my apartment set up and everything's clean and tidy, and it's like I'm ready for that next step of the journey, but I have no idea what that is. So I'm sitting here with everything torn down, everything being free and open, and just stepping into the void, stepping into possibility, stepping into seeing a new reality, and one that's based on my self-love, the ones that's based on lack of self-doubt, my ability to stand up for myself, speak directly, make boundaries, etc. These are all core values, core foundational things that allow me to create from a new space. Because if I look at it, it's like, how many relationships can you have, and how bad dating and all this kind of stuff can you have? And there's a lot of us that are sitting in that right now. But we're tearing down what was, tearing down the old ways, realizing, seeing it for its broken attachedness, not having love for ourselves, or giving all our love to someone else so that they'll love us, so that we feel met. And this codependency comes where now it's like, you'll see it right away. Everything just shows up in its clarity, and you just like, no, that's not for me anymore. So maybe this is happening to you too. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm different, or I'm weird, but I'm so peaceful. I'm so aware that better is possible, but I don't have evidence of it yet. Nothing's changed yet. Nothing's showing up in my life yet. All I know is things are getting much calmer. The people around me are showing up with the new boundaries and other things that I've created, and I'm not feeling hollow or that I'm living for others. I'm feeling very empowered and very calm and very happy. It doesn't mean I'm sleeping great. It doesn't mean my world's amazing and there's miracles showing up in every minute. I hear people talk every once in a while about this, and then the next day they're talking about how everything's normal again. I don't think those really magical things, the co-creation is happening yet. We got to clean up what's left. And as soon as that happens, then all the people that you're connected with, all that soul family, all those people that are distributed all over the planet are going to come together, and they're going to start showing up. We're going to create the new realities, create the new rules, create the new versions of government or governance, with transparency and all these things. This is all coming, but it's not showing up just yet. Every time I try, it's kind of like, hold on and wait. It's coming. And maybe that's the same for you. So if things aren't working out, if relationships aren't working out, if you're feeling like you've given up everything or whatever, it's normal. It's happening. It's happening all over the place. I see it with lots of soul family right now. So just stare into the void, stand on the edge, wait to see what shows up in the void. And when you feel ready, we're going to take that quantum leap. We're going to just jump off and we're going to see what shows up, because the old ways are no longer guiding us. The old ways are no longer have us by the toes or by the genitals and telling us how it has to happen. We're choosing new and better. And all those things had to break down. And if they're falling apart right now, that's exactly why. You need to let them break down, and it's okay. There's calm and peace at the end, and then you're choosing for you. So hopefully this makes sense to some people. Hopefully it resonates. that I feel so calm. I feel so right. A lot of people think I'm weird and my choices are different or whatever. And that's great, because choosing a new path, you got to be weird. Choosing and doing things different, it's going to mean you're different, and it's going to mean it triggers some people, and it's going to make some people scared and uncomfortable or whatever. And that's what I came here to do, is lead and show by example and all this kind of stuff. And I really feel that my dreams are coming true imminently, if not already underway, because I didn't come here to follow my face around relationships or follow my face around money and jobs and my house and all this kind of stuff and my kids. I came here to fucking clean up the big mess that I had no choice but to participate in, let it all go, release it into the void, clean myself off so I can step onto the bus when the truth comes. And that's what a lot of us are doing. So I love you all. Thank you for listening. Hopefully this resonates and we got this. Keep it up, and all those miracles are starting to roll in. So thank you for listening. Have a great night. I love you all.